The good, the bad, and the odd. It's a thing.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd. We hosts Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
So we're on the Dune trail, aren't we? In the last few weeks, so we move, I think we're finishing on Dune with this one. We're going to be covering the mini-series Frank Herbert's Children of Dune, which was the follow-up to the one we discussed last week. The 2000 series was Dune. This was 2003. Okay, well, this was based on the next two books in the Dune saga, which was Dune Messiah, which is a fairly thin book, actually, compared to Dune, and then Children of Dune, which is not a thin book. So, what did you think?
I quite enjoyed this. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
Me too. I've seen it, and I remember it being about the same as the other one, but I think it was a level up for me. What do you think? Do you think it compared better?
Yeah, I think it was a better. The CG was definitely better.
Yeah. But apart from the butterflies, most of the CG was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
The worms were even better than the last one as well.
Yeah, well, there was a lot more focus on the worms this time around.
Yeah, there was. Oh, apart from those bits where they crawl up his hand, little ones crawl up his hand, that wasn't very good.
Yeah, that was a bit shaky.
But otherwise, good. Yeah, I agree. But you thought it was generally better?
Yeah.
Me too. I think it benefited in a few ways. I think they had some better actors in some of the lead parts.
Yeah.
And it was just not in the shadow. David Lynch's Dune really overshadowed the last one. You couldn't help mentally compare it. I couldn't. This didn't have that comparison, did it?
Nah.
It was
avoided quite significantly. We had pardon?
It was quite good.
Yeah.
So as I say, it was based on the next two books in the Dune saga, and structured so it was in three parts. The first part was called Messiah, so based on Dune Messiah, and the next two were called The Children and The Golden Path, and that was basically the Children of Dune book.
Yeah, and
it was. Have you read them?
I read them quite a long time ago, but I've forgotten certain things. I completely forgot about the stone burner. Yeah, I just completely forgot that happened.
Yeah. It's and the stone burner in this was kind of done quite well, I think. And I just I hadn't quite remembered. Sorry, when I read the books, and I've read them a few times, I never quite pictured in my mind how the stone burner would look. I felt it was more localized, but in this, it's fairly dramatic what it does to this town, isn't it? It's a massive, kind of controlled nuclear explosion.
I was watching it and I looked at it and I was like, "Oh God, they've set off an atomic right in the middle of the city."
A stone burner kind of is that, but it's very focused.
But then, what's his name? The dwarf.
Bijaz.
Bijaz. He was he just turned around and went, "Stone burner." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool."
That's one of them, yeah. There was some cool stuff in this as well. So let's talk about part one, Messiah. We're back to Paul Atreides, set several years later, isn't it? 12 years. And we're kind of in the aftermath of the jihad. And the Fremen marching out across the universe and conquering all these planets and naming them all dead, which always felt unnecessary because he was already emperor. But it was kind of he had to let the Fremen, he had to let them free, otherwise they'd have kind of turned on him, perhaps, or something like that, and let them do what they felt was their holy duty. And it was always presented in the book as like a big regret of Paul that he couldn't control it better. And it's kind of mentioned here, and I thought the scripting was quite good in this. They kind of
they open it basically with not just the Fremen executing a lot of people. They start with the Fremen suffering because of it too.
Yeah,
but still just going through with it.
It felt quite cinematic, more cinematic than the first. It felt much less TV miniseries than the first one to me.
Yeah, it was pretty gratuitous that they had it looked like they'd got much bigger budget for it.
Yeah,
because they had like a lot of gratuitous like environment shots in this.
Yeah, they did. It felt, as I say, it felt more filmic in many ways. It reminded me, and I don't mean this as a slight, it reminded me of bits of Star Trek V, where they're on like that dust planet. Now, I quite like bits of Star Trek V. That isn't an insult. It just reminded me, there are some quite nice cinematic moments in Star Trek V, but people, have a problem with the story. But there were certain elements of I felt was similar in this. Now we get some new characters in this. We'll get to the children a bit later, but in this we meet a grown-up Alia, don't we?
Yeah, she was kind of cool.
She's meant to be like 15 in the first one, which the actress did it quite well. She was kind of mysterious and exotic, wasn't she?
Yeah.
But she became something else in the later ones. But
I did quite like that she had the accent of the Fremen because she's been raised among them.
Yeah.
Instead of the more like American accent of Paul and his mother. So
yeah, let's face it, everyone had different accents in this.
Yeah,
everyone.
And everyone. A lot of people had different faces too. So
yeah. We get Alec Newman is back as more Deeb. I thought he did a slightly better job in this one. Actually.
Yeah, he was a lot more serious. No, I quite liked the stuff they added for. Well, not really added. The stuff that they did for when he became the preacher.
Yeah, that was cool.
Where they like roughed up his face quite a lot.
Yeah, it was good. I mean,
he was pretty much unrecognisable aside from his black eyes. So.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was him. You could tell it was him. But it's interesting, in the book, when he comes back in Children of Dune in the book, you're not quite sure if it's him or not until near the end. It's not. It's kind of not a whodunit, a mystery of whether the preacher is more Dib or not, kind of thing. He's pretty good. So we get Alia come in. We also get there's a plot going on, isn't there? There's a plot going on. We meet Princess Wensicia of House Carino, who's played by Susan Sarandon, who looks a bit Vulcan-y, doesn't he?
Yeah, kind of. It was also very funny that Susan Sarandon, who I think was maybe in her early 50s at that point. Yeah. In her early 50s, was supposed to be the younger sister of Julie Cox.
Oh, I thought she was meant to be the older sister.
Yeah. No.
Oh, okay. Well, they got that all wrong, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I had to double check because I thought maybe there was some sort of like passage of airs in the background for House Carino or something like that. But no, it literally says like she's the oldest daughter of Shaddam IV. So
we get a different Stilgar, Stephen Burkoff. Now I like the other Stilgar, but I thought Stephen Burkoff was pretty good actually as Stilgar in this. He kind of got better as he had a fairly low key role in the first part, but he kind of got more and more significant as the thing went on. This was proper space opera stuff, wasn't it? It wasn't Star Wars or anything. This was I guess a lot of people would watch this now and think Game of Thrones or some sort of political intrigues going on, because there was a lot of that in this, wasn't there? It was kind of. Did you like that bit of it?
Yeah, that was kind of cool. It was weird that they had the Guild Navigator involved. But
I like that bit though. I like the bit that one came to see more Paul.
Yeah, but no, I mean the conspirators.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. Now, that's in the book, and they do that deliberately to shield the navigators form a little zone of protection that Muad'Dib can't see. So that's one of the reasons he was part of the plot. So when they plot together, Paul Atreides can't actually see things. Now, it's a bit weird, because that kind of suggests he's omniscient, which he isn't. Yeah. But it was kind of a way of protecting them, because what he can see is causal trails.
Yeah.
So he could detect a plot was going on by just inferencing stuff. But anyway, the guild navigators stop all that. So that was one of the reasons they were part of the plotting. We get a different Duncan Idaho as well, don't we?
Yeah. I quite like this Duncan Idaho.
Yeah, it's worked for me. The other one was a bit... I don't know, he was supposed to be a master swordsman, but he didn't look like he was up to that kind of thing. This guy at least was a bit more physically imposing. He was bigger, basically.
Yeah.
So it felt more like a Duncan Idaho. And he didn't have much of a part, but it was okay. You know,
Okay. I think he had some of the best lines in it.
He was a badass.
Yeah.
Of sorts, wasn't he? You know,
when in like the pretty much the end of the first part, the final part, when Alia's boyfriend priest came in, the guy was just like, oh, what does the royal cuckold have to say about this? And he goes, this is the royal cuckold's words, and just shoves a knife in his back.
Yeah, loved it. Loved that bit. That was very cool. That bloke was really asking for it.
Yeah.
And also we get the Baron back as well, don't we? In a sort of interesting... I really always liked how they represented what would happen to the preborn and this, abomination and possession by a previous... by an ancestor kind of made sense, and it kind of tied into the whole idea of possession. And one of the main... They didn't play it up that much in this, but one of the main bits of the Children of Dune is there was always a worry that the twins would become abominations.
Yeah.
You know, because they were pre-born as well.
Pre-born too.
But
I guess in a way... Leto did, but
they kind of help. Well, in the books, it's kind of discussed as they actually help each other by keeping each other grounded. They stop the other voices taking over, kind of thing. But there's also they learn from themselves, and there is. I mean, it's quite deep this, but in the books they talk about how Ganymede forms an alliance with her own grandmother's own mother's. Consciousness to help protect her, whereas Leto, I believe, forms an alliance with Paul, or it might be his grandfather. I can't remember. But they kind of have ways of dealing with it that Alia hadn't figured out. You know, unfortunately, her alliance was with the Baron, who was by far the strongest personality in there. That was the trouble.
Yeah.
But they managed to keep him at bay.
I don't know why, but I remember the Alia having been possessed like the entire time, almost.
No, she... Well, in a way, because the voices are always there.
At the start of Children of Dune, she's like been a tyrant for quite a while. Like that's what I remember.
She's been a
from
regent. She hasn't been a tyrant. She has been a regent. The Baron only really comes into it at near the beginning of Children of Dune. It certainly doesn't happen in Dune Messiah at all, because the Children of Dune is a few years after Dune Messiah. Well, they're babies. They're babies.
It's like 15 or so years, I want to say, at least.
Yeah. Well, no, I think the spice causes them to grow faster.
Okay.
I do know that, for example, Charlie's sort of birth is only a few months. It's not 9 months. It's only a few months because of the spice. And they have to give her more spice to keep it going. It's one of those things you have... Once you got the addicted to spice, and the fetus is addicted to spice, you can't come off the spice. Or something like that.
I just had a quick glance at the Children of Dune wiki page. It's apparently 9 years after. So
9 years, okay. All right. Okay, so we kind of talked about some of the new ones. There's also the other... Oh no, he's just a kid in this early one. Forget that. I was going to say the other prince, Farad'n, who's the son of
the heir of the Carino.
Yeah, the son of Wentisha, right? Okay, and we also see Gaius Helen Mahane back. She's had a haircut. It doesn't look as weird as she did in the other one, but she's only in it fairly briefly, isn't she?
Yeah.
She gets arrested, basically.
Yeah, she shows up and they're like, we told you never to come to this planet again. She goes, well, I'm not on the planet. And they go, we really don't care. And just lock her in prison. And that's the end of the story. Even the space above Dune belongs to Mod Dib. So, we'll have you.
I kind of, and again we get Charlie back again, and that works for me. I thought she was always pretty good anyway. We also get eventually Gurney Halleck turn up, same actor, acting a slightly bit better in this version.
Yeah, he seemed a bit more sort of like settled into his role.
Yeah, he did. And also we get a replacement for Lazy Jessica, Alice Cridge, who most famous for being the Bald Queen in First Contact. Actually,
it's kind of cool.
That's her, Alice Cridge, who always sounds English to me, but I think she's an American actress. What did you think of her? Do you think she was better, a good replacement for Saskia Reeves?
Yeah, she was pretty good. I think I liked the panic of the first one. That sounds bad. She seemed more like worried about everything, which is understandable and therefore more relatable. Like I could get why she'd be like worried about going into the becoming the Reverend Mother. I could get that she was worried for her son. In this, she's like way too confident about everything. Like she literally just undermines the Regent Empress without a care.
Yeah, I mean, this is much better developed in the book because it's over a longer period.
Yeah.
And there's whole sections in this that are telescoped into like almost one or two scenes that are like 100 pages in the book. Well, that's fine. It's a TV show. There's nothing wrong with telescoping as long as it's done well. And I thought it was. One of the things I did like about Alice Cridge and Susan Sarandon is they gave it a kind of a Shakespearean air of plotting. The whole thing had a slightly more serious, and in fact, Alec Newman is more Dib in the first part. I felt there was it felt slightly Shakespearean. Do you know what I mean? Grand and big and speechified, and kind of worked well. I kind of liked it. And it looked really nice. The whole lot looked really nice. Also, the music was pretty kick-ass in this.
Yeah, that was also another thing. When the stone burner went off, there was just like wailing in the background.
It was very cool. Awesome. I said it before on the previous one. There was a touch of the good bits of Duel of the Fates and Phantom Menace music in this too.
Yeah.
There was a touch of that in it. And they used, I think it was the production team on this went on to make the Battlestar Galactica miniseries, and that similarly has a similar kind of music vibe. So it's kind of interesting. We also meet the Bene Tellarax in this one. They got face dancers, which are basically people that can change their face at will. They've got supreme muscle control. So that's
in this one we've got Cytail, I think is how it's pronounced.
Cytail.
Yeah, who sneaks his way pretty much right up to Paul.
But he knows exactly what he is. Right from the first meeting, Paul. There's no way you get that past Paul Atreides. He's
if I remember correctly, all the Bene Gesserit can just tell when they're a face dancer.
Oh,
like they just know or something that they can smell them. I think
I didn't know that, but I know that Paul Atreides could definitely spot them, and Alia can probably spot them too.
Yeah.
So there is that. There's I thought the stone burner happened right near the end. It wasn't quite. It was more. There was quite a bit left of part one when the stone burner turned up. The other bits that they kind of underwrote compared to the book were the whole stuff with the dwarf being a sort of trickster character and confusing people with words. I think they did it reasonably well, and I'm pretty sure they lifted his dialogue straight from the book because it was very familiar. So I kind of like that, but a bit more might have been a good idea. But it was.
And a lot of his more like his weirder ways of trickery would have been cool to see. Like he had like a whistling pattern. Yeah, that would set off Duncan. And
they mention it in this. They say, I was a Tleilaxu tank partner. I shared a tank with you, which sounds goofy in this TV version, but in the book it's kind of written better. So it sounds more. And also, natural.
It's like the tanks aren't big from what I remember.
No, the tanks are actually women.
Yeah, they're just women.
They're women, so it's kind of weird, right? Yeah, but they are big, distorted women. They're not just women. Bene Telax who have engineered these women as birth tanks, but they're not just women who walk around. They're big sort of things. So there is that. And it's funny that it doesn't really come across in this, but in the Dune universe, everyone pretty much hates the Bene Telaxu.
Yeah,
as being.
I think they were like rogue for a while.
They're rogue. There's 2 planets in the Dune universe that are basically skirting some of the morality of the time. Because one of the things about the Dune universe is they hate thinking computers completely. Yep. There was a jihad against thinking computers because one aborted a fetus. That was viable and should have been allowed to live. A machine made that decision.
That gets changed. Okay.
Yeah. So
the books retconned it. So
that's not in the
Brian Herbal books retconned it.
Yeah,
so.
that is not in the that's not in the original books. That's more like a side note, and it's mentioned in passing in some of the other works. There is a bit of that. Okay. It's called the Butlerian Jihad. And what I was getting at, and also things like distortions of body, but the Bene Telaxu do actually do sort of genetic engineering. That's how and cellular start manipulation, stuff like that. But there's another planet called Ix where they actually build something close to intelligent machines or specialist machinery. Now, the Ixians are much less interested in plotting than the Bene Telaxu. They keep to themselves, but they'll do stuff to order. And they got no morality. You could say, I want something to destroy a whole planet, and they'll just build it and give you it, kind of thing, as long as you pay the money. But they're not plotters, whereas the Bene Telaxu have got lots of all weird agendas. A bit like the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah.
So they're kind of sorry. We're really getting into the books, and I didn't really want to. Okay, so okay. So the first part, the stone burner goes off and blinds Paul. Now there is a Fremen tradition which is harked on at the beginning, isn't it? About the blind should be sent into the desert, with their water.
And it's like that's what I mentioned before when we see the Fremen get injured. One of the children of child of one of the soldiers gets shot.
Gets
in
blinded,
the face, pretty much.
And he won't give up his son, will he? So it's a kind of a shameful thing for a Fremen to look after a blind person. That's the kind of idea. So when Paul Muad'Dib, who is considered head of the Fremen, gets blinded, if he doesn't walk into the desert, they're going to all turn on him, kind of thing. But he feels he is a Fremen, so he has to anyway. He briefly
kind of like... He's able to, using his prescience, he's able to see for a while.
He can kind of see with prescience, and he can certainly see through the eyes of his one of his children as well at one point.
That was kind of cool, the way he was like just interacting with the future stuff. Though that does mean that for a while, Leto was kind of just wandering about saying stuff to no one.
Yeah, that was good. That was purely for the TV show.
Yeah.
That was, and also Paul seeing his own son talking back to him, that was purely for the TV show. That was not part of the books. But Paul had other machinations going on in his head, so which kind of parallel what was going on in that. So fair enough, fair enough. I did like, there are some very nice touches in the book where at some points, I think, for example, Duncan starts talking to him and he says, "That's weird, I didn't see you there," after he's blind. Meaning in his future visions, he never saw Duncan next to him talking to him. There is this interesting idea that this guy's grown from a cell of Duncan. He doesn't have any of his memories, but and I'm not sure it was that well presented in the TV show, or not. It wasn't quite presented in the same way, that the whole sort of inner turmoil of killing someone that in his previous life would have been so dear to him, Paul Muad'Dib, suddenly precipitates such a crisis within his mind that his personality, all his memories return. From the point of him dying, at the point of him dying. And that kind of happens, but it's kind of quickly gone through in this, isn't it, in the TV show? Whereas that's a big deal.
They also kind of skip over why the face dancer is kind of doing what he's doing. He's just sort of there and like attacks them. Because from what I remember in the book, he's trying to like force Paul out of being emperor, which I get. He sort of succeeds, but he's like, "We'll make you a new they say in the book and in the adaptation, he says we'll make you a new Charlie, but in the book the reason is that it's like we'll only do it unless you like secede from the like I don't know what the word is.
Well, step down.
Give up the emperor. Yeah.
I remember the book being more like, if we do this for you, you'll always owe us. Is more like the vibe, but which is kind of what is done here. But yeah, it's kind of, I'm not sure. Yeah, so this, I mean, there's all this plotting going on. With Charlie dies and the kids are born. Duncan gets revived. One bit I did wanted to mention, which is a real standout bit in the book, is the whole bit where Arya starts fighting these weird devices as part of her fight skills, and she does a whole fight sequence. Now, the CG wasn't great, but I actually thought she was really good.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And it was cool. And in the book, it's more like a fighting machine that she turns up to a ridiculously high thing, and she does it naked in the book. It's quite. You know, there's a lot about that because in the end, sort of
to kind of allude to that in the.
They do, because she takes her clothes off. Stripping. Yeah, and then Paul and Duncan come in?
Yeah, Paul and I think a couple of other people are just sort of standing there watching, and she just suddenly throws her dress off. So
yeah, weird. But that is an interesting one, and she's obviously quite attracted to Duncan at this point. I mean, she's about she's like 15 in the second story, and this is well before any kind of Baron stuff. She's just a young woman who's got all these powers, and she does all the, you know, because she knows all this stuff from the past. She's kind of super wise and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to part 2. So this is where the kids are older, and we get James McAvoy.
Yeah. That was kind of cool.
McAvoy, I mean, he was pretty good in this. I mean, you could see his talent then, couldn't you?
Oh, he was definitely the best actor.
It was interesting because while I was watching some of his fight sequences, which is in right at the end, I was thinking, man, he would have made a good Spider-Man, actually.
Yeah.
And we also get, as Garnimar, I can't find her name, Jessica Brooks, who has much less of a role, actually. She's in it a bit. Yeah, so James McAvoy, and also we start getting the interaction between Arya and the Baron, which I really liked. I thought they did it quite well.
It was good to have the Baron back, mainly because he was completely mental and so creepy.
And he was like being sympathetic to her, but you could tell he was just manipulating her. Yeah, he was saying, "Oh, just give me a moment." He
was kind of taking on a grandfatherly role to her.
Well, he is a grandfather.
My dear, we'll sort it out, my dear.
And he's saying how much he admired her. And there's even some comments, isn't there? I killed you once. And when you killed me, I was quite impressed. All that sort of stuff. Now, that doesn't quite work because you inherit the memories at the point of conception.
Yeah.
All right? So he wouldn't be aware of her killing, you know. That wouldn't have happened. Although they don't discuss it, they do discuss that he's the grandfather. They don't discuss that Gaius Helen
Mohaim's the grandmother.
Which is kind of cool. So he's back, and Alia. Now the actress has to do a slightly older role, and I think she does it quite well. I think she's
the progression's pretty cool.
There's all the ceremonial stuff she's leading, like litanies. You know,
she's got like priests running around for her,
and she's cuckolding Duncan pretty early on.
He is not happy about that. She's doing it mostly on the whims of the Baron, but still,
I just want a few moments pleasure. Do it for me, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so tired of this." So there is all that. We also do. I can't remember now. Is Irulan part of the plot in the first one and changes?
Sort of. She's giving Cheney contraceptives.
Yeah.
Which Cheney really sort of throws down about. So
not surprisingly. Yeah. And I don't know if it was. I can't remember. I don't think it was in this, but the contraceptives are the thing that caused the accelerated birth rate.
Okay.
And the spice is the solution to keep it viable. as the only way of keeping it viable. Well, they kind of rearranged it a bit, didn't they?
Yeah, they made it so that she just couldn't really have children anymore, and spice was the only way she could have kids.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the same, I suppose.
But the spice caused the accelerated
growth, which killed Charlie. And Mordib knows all this is coming, and he can't get out of it. And he's even foreseen that he'd be offered Charlie as a gola and a way of escaping. And he has considered that. It's extreme. I mean, Dune Messiah is a really good title for this because it is messianic. It's got a touch of the Jesus.
Yeah.
And in fact, later on when we see the preacher in the market throwing stuff around, it's very
it
Jesus.
Smashes up the
Jesus in the moneylenders, right? It's very much that. So the next two parts are really covering that plot, aren't they? With the children growing up, realising they've got things to avoid, what they got to do. Jessica turns up in the second one. She's not even part of the first one. She's on.
No, I think we get like one shot with her, and she's basically like, Paul will sort it out, and she carries on. So,
and in the books, Gurney is actually her lover. At this point, they kind of he's like a secret consort, as it were, but they don't really talk about it in this. I mean, there's no reason to. It doesn't add anything, No. And we also see the older Farad'n. What do you think of him?
He was pretty good.
He was all right, wasn't he? I mean, it wasn't a great role, but he was not a skin job in the way Fade Routher was. The characters were way better developed in this, mostly, I think. So it was kind of quite sophisticated, really, wasn't it? Without being confusing. That's what I liked about it, I think. And also, as it goes on in the third part, Stilgar becomes more important, doesn't he? You can kind of see him having growing doubts, and Arlia's kind of getting more and more.
She's getting demanding of him.
Yeah, and it feels like when Tisha feels like seems to think she's the reason Arlia's becoming like that. She's deliberately creating conditions. But she isn't really. Arlia's just becoming like that because of the Baron. So there's all that.
It is very funny when Tisha's plot just gets completely undone.
Yeah.
Like, just
by her own
she's
son.
about to actually act on it. So,
partly through Jessica's machinations, but partly because Farad'n's actually clever.
Yeah, and he's just so sick of her.
Yeah, and you can't blame him. Then we get into the weird stuff, like, for example, they get chased by the tigers. They weren't great CG, were they? They would look too cutesy. That's an interesting touch, because in the book, they actually think that they're dead. But like the times are too short for that to be much of an issue in the TV show. They kind of suggested they're dead, but we see them all. As the audience, we're seeing them all the time, so it doesn't really work, does it? And then he gets taken, Leto gets taken and fed spice and has visions. Now that's quite a long bit in the book. In the TV show, it's kind of
and also Gurney's kind of behind it. So
Gurney's behind it. It's their own test of abomination. And there's a suggestion, or it might actually be actuality in the book, that Jessica is behind that as well because she wants them tested just in case.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that.
And this is it. It kind of plays off like someone who's going against Alia.
Yeah,
because they're like, we can like just load him up with spice, and then he'll go so crazy, and then we'll send him back, sort of thing.
Yeah, that's right. But in the end, he kind of doesn't affect him, and he goes out into they've got a load of little sand trout, haven't they? They're trying to develop them to take them off. There was quite a cool scene where they lift a giant worm out of the sand. That's kind of cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially because they dug huge troughs in the ground and flooded it with water
to keep it.
Also, I'm amazed that no Fremen completely lost their mind at seeing that.
Yeah,
all the damn sand.
Well, yeah, that's true. It was weird, wasn't it? Because they were talking about. Didn't Paul actually say in the first one, "I saw a puddle today in Arrakeen"? suggesting there's so much water on Dune now that it's like natural to have free open water, and we get the butterflies and all that too. But he starts attaching the sand trout to his own skin. Now the CG bits weren't great, but actually the makeup was all right once he'd actually got it on. Though it was quite jarring from him to like have his hand in the sand and these weird, like, not even a proper animation, like a sort of like a five frame GIF sort of thing of these. It was a properly bad PS1 level stuff, wasn't it? Yeah, it was pretty bad.
They're moving up his arm, and then he like lifted it to the camera, and he had like scales. So
in the book they do it slightly differently. In the book they have he covers himself entirely apart from his face.
Yeah, it's like a power armor basically.
Yeah, he essentially he describes it as like natural steel suit.
Yeah,
because not only is it a suit, he even provides a little sucker tube to drink water through as part of the sort of biological material. So it's kind of almost like the ultimate steel suit.
Yeah, and that's like absolutely mental with spice.
Yeah. So. And of course they're integrating with him, aren't they? They're becoming one organism, which is kind of suggested in this because it's getting bigger and bigger as it goes on. But most of him's normal skin with a bit of him covered.
Well, he starts off with just like his forearm, and then he goes out to challenge the desert, and it's got like up to his shoulder, up to like just below his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then when he digs himself out of the ground, it's like just coming onto his chest.
Yeah. And at one point, a load of Fremen attack. Lali orders a Fremen guard to attack him, and he kind of takes them all out, like an X-Man or something. It's kind of like that, isn't it?
It's weird, 'cause I remember in the book, isn't there a bit where he just like picks up a guy and starts like hitting people with him?
Yeah, he's super strong. He's super strong once he's got the skin. Yeah, that's right. So. And they marry off, in the book, they marry off Ghanima and Farad'n are married, or at least consort. I think they're married. In the TV series, they aren't they?
They're consorts, specifically.
We can't marry because of politics. But he effectively, it's Leto's plan that the intermarriage stops any issues between House Corrino and House Atreides, which is a good thing. But also, Leto wants to continue the Atreides line, and Ghanima, once he's got the steel suit, he can't breed. So Ghanima's the bloodline that he uses. So he wants her to have children, and Farad'n seems a good sort of match. So that's kind of interesting. And then after that, it goes off into a massive breeding program, which is the Golden Path is really a breeding program.
Yeah,
they talk about it
as everything in Dune is.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. In the TV series, they kind of suggest it's him escaping from Muad'Dib's legacy, which it not really isn't.
Nah,
it's something else entirely. So there is.
So
I mean, we've gone through a lot of the plotting. I think we kind of covered what we liked. The music was awesome. The actor was pretty good. I felt this was an improvement on Dune. I can't remember if you said it or not.
Yeah, I liked it far better. So
it feels like something worth watching, didn't it? It felt like worth sort of investing time in. Not too bad, really. 4 hours in 3 nice chunks. And it worked well. It wasn't nuanced, but what it was kind of operatic and Shakespearean in places. Maybe that's saying it a bit strong, but I kind of liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah. I like Susan Sarandon being pantomime villainish.
Yeah, it was... If she had a mustache, she'd be twirling it. So,
McAvoy was the real find in this. I think this might have been his first famous role. I'm not entirely sure.
Possibly,
but you could kind of see he was going to become something significant, couldn't you? In this, he was a real mark above the rest.
There's a few like one-offs in TV stuff, and like seemingly minor characters in films, and then. He was in Chronicles of Narnia, and then it just took off. So,
oh yes, Mr. Tumnus, but he was kind of famous before that as well. I think.
Yeah.
Sure interestingly, it says on Wikipedia of the top Dune and Children of Dune, the two miniseries, are two of the three highest rated programmes ever broadcast on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Wow.
How about that? Because this premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel. And it won an Emmy for special visual effects. Which some of them are really good and some of them not so good. Really.
Yeah.
To
be fair, it was mostly good. So, and sci-fi original, TV show CG at the time. Oof.
Yeah. Not great. We kind of enjoyed this. I mean, what did you rate the last one? I'm trying to remember.
I rated it a solid 6 or something.
Yeah, I think I said a 6. What would you give this?
I'd give this a 7.5.
I'd give this a high 7 as well. Yeah, high 7. I think this is pretty solid. I'll just have a look on IMDb, see what the sort of... 7.6. So we're all kind of agreeing there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was good. And I actually think Alec Newman did a better job this time as well. Both as Maud Dib and as the Preacher. I thought the Preacher was... really interesting. Though I have to say, there was a few points it was reminding me of some of the mad preachers from Life of Brian. There was a touch,
especially when he was like just stood over the crowd,
shouting
on like a bridge and just screaming at people, saying that they'd like done wrong the name of Muad'Dib. Oh, also something I'd love to mention: when he does get stabbed, like Gurney just immediately books it after the guy, and we just see this knife. The next shot of him is like a knife going up and down. I was like, that's probably the best way to describe what Gurney does.
Gurney's good at stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like this guy's not going to live long.
Yeah, Gurney's like the original Federkin, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what it's kind of called. Okay, cool. Let's wind it out there. So that's our June stuff over with. We'll get back to normal programming, I think, whatever we do next time. Okay, so bye from me.
Bye.